I'm Simon, and today I'm going to be representing Scotland. I'm going to be visiting the Falls of Acharn, which are just up the hill behind me. But before I do, it's lunchtime, so let's try this thing out. Apparently it is truly delicious and truly irresistible. That's a lot of trulies in one sentence. So this better live up to its expectations. And I'm sure you'd rather see me eat a sandwich than you would see me visit a waterfall.
Hi, I'm Andrew and I'm representing New Zealand, and I'm doing that here in the township of Rotorua, famous around the world for its geothermal activity, being that it lies on a volcanic hotspot at the very bottom of the Pacific Ring of Fire. Now, an example of that geothermal activity is right behind me here in that pool. Not a very exciting example, but we're going to go and see some in a minute. I'm going to have a look around this park where there are hundreds of holes in the ground where water and stuff has just erupted randomly without warning. Now, we're also going to have a look at the old bathhouse later on, which is actually one of New Zealand's most famous and iconic landmark buildings. And I'm sure we're going to hopefully see some geysers, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. I'll go and have a look for you, see what I can find. This is the sort of geothermal thing that I'm talking about, this sort of natural spring. Now, that might look like a nice place to have a wee douche, but it's absolutely lethal. You'll boil to death. So that's why there's this fence and this warning sign. Now, in GrayBurn videos in the past, we've always ignored warning signs, but not today because I don't fancy being boiled Andrew. That's pretty much where it begins with Rotorua. There's much more exciting stuff to come.
Just look at this view. Again, the sun's come out and it's absolutely stunning up here. This is just... How can you say that New Zealand is better than this? How can you say a New Zealand wintertime is better than a Scottish summertime? Just look at that. You know I'm right.
Welcome to GrayBurn Tours, and we're here in Thermal Park, where, as you can see, there is loads of steam coming up from the water. It's even steaming up the camera right now, so I will not be here that much longer. This is Thermal Park. Fuck. Here I am at a particularly large example of a geothermal lake. I'll just spin that around so you can see all that there. Yeah, good, good. So yeah, this is great. I'll tell you what I know offhand about Rotorua. It's one of the main sort of Maori heartlands. There's loads of Maori experience villages, which I've been to one of them, and they just take you through the usual sort of, the Maori rituals, the history. They put on a show. It's great stuff. But I believe this is the heartland for Maori culture. Maoris, they came here in, I think, the 12th century. Were the first people to ever set foot, first mammals ever to set foot on New Zealand since God knows how long ago. It used to be just purely birds, I think. There hadn't been any other kind of animals since it split off from Gondwana land, which was a long, long time ago. I think this must be a Maori part of town or something, because over there, I don't know if you can see, I'll zoom in, there's more Maori stuff there, and we've got this raft over here as well. It's got a little sculpture on it. It's actually really nice. Now, nobody's around, so I'd be all over this usually if I could jump that. But as I say, it's got Maori stuff on it, and I get the feeling to go on it would be somehow disrespectful, so I just have to put up with just looking at it for now. Wow, it's like a kettle, isn't it? You could actually probably boil something in that, some food. What the Maoris actually used to do is they put stuff underground to cook and boil through, just with all this volcanic stuff that's going on here. Loads of it here, and look over there. I thought that was a Maori house actually. It's just a regular house with a Maori facade at the front, but you can see all the intricate designs and things there, which is really cool. As I said earlier, hot spot for Maori culture. So this must be a Maori sort of tribe gathering place. As you can see, strictly no entry. Clearly an area of some kind of cultural significance. I've just been taking photos of it, that's why the movements in this camera seem a bit stiff in this video. But that's beautifully put together. You can see all the designs on the wood there, all these weird, almost alien looking faces on the sides. with that sort of silver effect put into the eye sockets. It's really artful. I would definitely in a Maori part of town, but that is magnificent. No entry though.
Here we go. I'm only about a quarter of a mile up the hill, so I started off pretty much by the waterside, but as you can see already I'm very high up, which is shown by the steepness of this path. You can probably hear a bit of breathlessness on my voice. But this is an absolutely stunning location. It's well worth the hike up here, even if it is quite a brutal climb. But yeah, just look at that view. That must beat New Zealand. Come, this view is your heritage, your history, Andrew. You have to respect it.
Yeah, well, this is what happens at like Rotorua here in New Zealand. Lots of pigeons flying around right above the water. Well, I hope you enjoyed my New Zealand accent. Problem is, when you've stayed here for as long as I have, you start to pick up the odd word here or there that sounds a bit like a Kiwi expression. Well, I hope you liked my New Zealand accent. Probably sounds like I went to Australia to learn it because I can't actually tell the difference, know what I mean? Well, I probably put too much London in there as well.
And what makes any walk better is always the presence of something underground. And can you hear that water? That's the sound of the waterfall we've come to see. But to get to it, we have to go in here. I don't think it's going to be too dark in here today. It wasn't the last time. But I'll put the torch on anyway because it just makes life easier and you get a better footage on this. This is the Hermit's Cave. It's kind of a strange shape to it. We've got this bit here. I'll show you what's down that side passage in a second because that's what we actually came to look at. But we can navigate through here and it just comes slightly further up the hill. Wee seating area there. There we go. Some more views of the stunning Scottish countryside. Here we go. I'd like to show you the Falls of Acharn, which is a stunning waterfall. Last time I came here, it was 2011, and I came in the morning, and that meant the sun was shining over the top of it, meaning I couldn't get any decent photographs. So I'm hoping to remedy that today. But enough of that. Let's actually have a look at this. There we go. Come out onto this viewing platform, and look at that. Just look at that waterfall. It almost feels tropical with all those greens around it. Last time I was here it was March, so there was no colour to the trees. There we go. The wee bonus bit at the bottom there, and it climbs up and up and up and up. Well, the water drops down, but you know what I mean. And that is the Falls of Acharn. Well worth climbing up to. It takes maybe about 10 minutes, 15 if you struggle a bit with the hill.
Now this is the A-grade stuff. Don't know if you can see through the mist, but this is bubbling like hell. Big black pool of liquid just bubbling away there like a witch's cauldron. Now this is the really good stuff that I came here to see. Sort of redefines bubble bath, doesn't it? So I'm having a good time here at the Maori village, and I'm going to go and see a better viewpoint of the geysers, hopefully. They will be running at the moment, although if they've stopped it'll be a whole other hour before we can actually go and see them, but they're just round the corner here, so let us hope for the best that they are still firing up. Oh yes, you can see them there. I'll zoom in for you. That's what you want to see. Amazing. Well worth my money's worth to come here. I just finished the guided tour, by the way, which was really good, really informative. Super. Don't know if you can see amongst the steam, but the water's just shooting out there. Whoa! That's a proper big geyser there. Oh, sorry about the camera blurring out, but there you go. That's fantastic. Water just leaps out of the ground here. I mean, anyone can see any chumpy old water falling down, eh, Simon?
Okay, so I'm going to have to concede that no matter how stunning that waterfall is down there, and how interesting the cave is behind me, and just how, in general, amazing this area is, I can't compete with water that shoots upwards instead of flowing downwards. It's just something I've never seen before, and it's just so dramatic that I'm afraid that New Zealand's going to have to win, although I'm begrudged to say that. However, there is more to this place. If we take a walk further into the hills, I can show you some more scenery, and maybe we can turn this around and maybe Scotland can hold back the score. Yeah. Just a little further up from the Falls of Acharn and the Hermit's Cave, we've got this sign here. We've got a viewing platform to the left and the upper bridge to the right. I'm going to go to the viewing platform first. It's just another thing that makes this walk just that wee bit better. You get the big waterfall, and you can probably hear it on the camera already that there's more water in the trees over there.
So behind me here we've come to the old bathhouse here in Rotorua. It's got quite a grand archway down there, and you come up to here and it's done in this sort of mock Tudor style. Now, I believe this was built sometime in the 19th century actually, and the notion was it was going to make Rotorua a big spa town in the style of places like Harrogate or other sort of, you know, that kind of thing, and it was supposed to treat all kinds of ailments, arthritis, rheumatitis, genericitis, and yeah, I think it carried on in that capacity until the 1960s. That was a car going past. I did not care for that, and there's another one coming, so I'll catch up with you later.
This is the viewing platform. It's more of a bridge because it goes right to the other side. Look at this. Isn't this stunning? Down we come. There's a mushroom down there, which I'm sure nobody cares about. There's a lot of additional noise here, so I apologise if the footage goes crackly or whatever whilst I'm coming down here. So now on the viewing platform itself. And when I last came here, further up there's more waterfalls and it just keeps on going like this for ages. So there's loads to see in this spot, if you like waterfalls anyway. There it goes to the bridge over there. Let's continue. I think it'd be really rewarding to come back here in the autumn time, get some shots of this whilst all the leaves are brown and you've got these wonderful colours going on. Ooh, this bridge is reinforced with metal, so I'm pretty confident I'm not going to fall and die walking across it.
We are now coming into the next interesting geothermal area on our trip, known as the Sulphur Flats, the most dangerous, inhospitable place on planet Earth. If you but step 1 foot off this walkway, then you will melt right through to the bone, and then your skeleton will explode into 1,000,000 shards. And if your friends are standing anywhere near you, then those shards are gonna pierce them into 1,000,000 pieces, and their blood's gonna run all over the Sulphur Flat. Yeah, enough of that.
Okay, over there is the Hermit's Cave that I was at earlier, and I'm now on the other side of the gorge from the Falls of Acharn. You can't see them from this side, unfortunately. There we go, that is the view that you get from the other side of the gorge. You can see the hills and the mountains in the distance, and the waterfall itself is just kind of down there. You can't really see it from here at all. But then look at this. Come back over here. And just have a look at that view. Kenmore down there, Loch Tay in the distance, and all those hills tapering off into the distance. Would you really want to call anywhere else home?
This is stunning. All the colours and things, nice toxic blue looking water, the orangey sulphuric stuff. It's fantastic here. Again, apologies for the zoom noise. And I'm here in a working Maori village. Wasn't cheap to get in, but it seems nice so far. I'm going to do a guided tour later on, and these are houses that Maoris live and work in, and you know, this is for all intents and purposes a proper village. But with all this going on as well, it must be weird having this all around you as you live and work, but yeah, it'd be beautiful until of course one of these erupts through the floor of your own house, which is likely to do so at some point somewhere. Anyway, I'm going to go and look at something that I found over there. Now this here is a hangi. Now hangi is where they cook food underground, making use of the heat that's actually coming out from the earth, that basically steam the food. Now you can actually smell that something's been cooking here recently. I just found this while walking around, and you can see the foil just on the stick there. So yeah, I've had one of these before. It was actually quite tasty. It's certainly something different, and you know, why pay all that money for electricity or gas for your cooker when you can just use the ground? Makes sense.
Now a wee bit further up from the last waterfall, look what kind of location we're in. There's just loads of this stuff. Go down that way, you get a nice serene scene. Turn the corner, and there's even more waterfall over there. I remember this place being amazing last time I came here, and it hasn't let me down on this second trip. I think it'd be cruel if I promised to show you a bridge and didn't actually come here. Kind of scrambled down below. It's difficult to make out what's going on here because the sun's in the wrong place and there's a lot of foliage around. But again, there's more waterfalls here, and there is the bridge. This is sort of marks the top of the walk, so when you get here, basically you cross the bridge and you walk back down the other side of the gorge and back into a cairn village at the bottom of the hill. And overall it's about a mile round, where you get a lot for your mile. I mean, it's a bit of a strenuous climb, but well worth it, well worth visiting here. And even if it's not quite as good as what Andrew is showing you in New Zealand, I still give this place a well-deserved, and happy to provide it, thumbs up. And just in case you were wondering, the sandwich from earlier also gets a thumbs up.
Well, I've had a lovely time here in Rotorua. I hope you have had a lovely day up in Loch Tay as well, Simon. I'm glad I've won this round, to be honest. This is spectacular. But may we have more battles in the future, Scotland versus New Zealand. Meanwhile, I've really nothing left to say other than just to let you enjoy the beautiful view at this place in Rotorua.
I've decided to come a slightly different way home along one of the mountain passes in the area, and when you get to this point you start to come quite steeply downhill. I'll come round and show you. There I am parked quite steeply on the side here. Obviously the main attraction is the view coming downhill here, and that is Loch Tay in the distance, which I don't believe is named after the one in Fife. I don't think there's any connection other than the name. But yeah, it's well worth coming back this way just to experience the drive, go through the hairpins at the beginning of the Loch Tay side, come down this long steep slope, and you just come into this barren but beautiful landscape. I just want to be serious here for a minute. Now I know we've staged this and we've decided that New Zealand wins, but that doesn't stop any of the stuff I've seen today from being amazing sights, amazing things to look at. You've got all these views, and they're all within an hour, 2 hours drive from where I live, and I can't really ask for any more than that. It's well worth coming out here and just seeing what's close by. It's close to home. It's, you know, it's landscapes like this that, you know, generally really matter to me.